Hello everyone and welcome to Best Side Cycling. Today's my birthday and what else am I going to do than to ride hills? For my 29th I already did the Everest thing, so today I'm just going to be doing all my favorites, and actually I put them all into one route starting here from Lewis Creek Park, which is a really nice place with restrooms and everything that fits them all in a nice way, and I'm calling it Best Side Summits. Some of you might know the Suffering Summits rides and it definitely has overlap with that, but these is sort of my own interpretation of terms of the hills I like, ease of descent, and a lot of views. So join me as we basically go through the whole route and I walk you through it. And also, more on this later, but I'm probably going to host a group ride, bringing you all along with me if you want to ride it together. So more details on that later, but let's go out and roll. So as we get rolling here towards our first hill, I want to give just a quick overview about the route in general. So it's 35 miles in length and 5,500 feet as I have it right now. That's about 150 feet of climbing for every mile, which is a very, very good ratio. And that's because all the hills that I picked are my favorite ones, unironically also because they are all the steepest ones that you'll find in the area. All, I guess, with a gradient of over 10%, except for a couple of them. Second thing about this route is I make sure to lay in all my favorite views of the whole area. So this covers the South Bellevue, China Creek, Newcastle, and then the Cougar Mountain, sort of the west side of the Issaquah Alps, some people might refer to that as. But yeah, with all the favorite views, lastly, I made it in a way, as maybe you can just sort of tell from the map, that it loops around a lot and doesn't try to reuse roads. So I try to minimize the amount of out and backs and make it feel sort of more a normal ride as such. Yeah, even when you're climbing up so many hills. So without further ado, let's get to our first one. All right, so after a good sort of descent that serves as the warm up this route, you're thrown right into the China Creek climb. This runs for a good distance, maybe 400 feet at 12% gradient. And yeah, this is gonna be one of the more difficult ones on the route, but it leads you straight to the best views in the house at the golf course. So it's definitely a way to introduce to you. And this is one of my favorite routes just because it's so close to where I live and has that steepness that I like to go for. But yeah, here up ahead, only thing to know is that you're gonna make a right here at 141st, and it's where it pitches up even more. So definitely some energy for that, and make your way on through. We're now at the golf course climb, and this is going to be by far the easiest climb of this whole video and route. But yeah, the main reason why it's here is because these are definitely some of the best views in the house. In terms of amount of elevation gain to view, this one pretty much maxes it out, as you can just see the downtowns of the downtown Bellevue and Seattle area and just all the area nearby. So after doing that hard climb up China Creek, you're rewarded with all these views. So definitely soak in the views when you can, as they are meant to serve as a nice break. But this next section we're going into is the summit corridor, and this is probably one of the harder ones, and you'll see why. So I don't think I can even begin to narrate this one, as it's just too steep. And this is the start of the trio of 3 hills here in the summit area, but this segment is a relatively unknown one, but I think it's probably one of the most difficult ones on this whole route. My idea of what a difficult climb is usually just the minimum effort you need to get on top. So it's usually about the threshold, about the gradient and how long that gradient is. And here near the top, it holds into those high teens, probably in the 20s for what feels like forever. So this probably has my book for being the hardest climb of the day, but luckily it's a little bit earlier in the ride and you really just need to get through it, and you'll be rewarded from some views here, but the better ones are to come. But let's keep on going and knock out the second climb of this trio, which is the West Summit climb, just shortly after the previous one. And honestly, a lot of these aren't gonna feel as bad after doing the Meadow Park wall, but still, a lot of these climbs, or almost all of them, are over 10% in gradient, about that 300 to 500 feet level. So bring the right gears that you need. But at least for this one, you are treated with some nice views after you're done, which is you just get to see that golf course that we were just at in all its sort of glory, and it's pretty neat. So definitely, if you are enjoying this video so far, please roll over that like button and subscribe. I love to show you more of the Seattle cycling area and just be sort of that buddy of yours that can get you more and more into biking. But yeah, after this short ride and a nice descent in a loop, we're gonna head on to the summit climb. We're on summit now, and this will end the trio of the climbs. And also, the top of this one has a really good view. But yeah, this one definitely is no slouch, as you're just gonna keep on rolling. And that's really the name of the game. Really just take your time, enjoy the hills as much as you can as you're going up, and sooner or later you're gonna make it to the top. So that was summit done, and check out the views. So as we get around this bend, you can just see everything. Super awesome. And thus begins our descent down onto the other side, which is the hilltop, where we'll head on to some more climbs, of course, but for really just for navigational purposes, sorry for the low angle, but as we continue on this route, you are going to run into a gate, and this is the only area where you do have to get off your bike and just walk over it. This is perfectly fine, and you won't have any issues. You don't have to go through anyone's direct property, but it is a very helpful connection in general if you do ride in this area a lot, as you want to connect maybe from the north side to the south. And this was really close to my Everesting hill, so this was sort of my way. So yeah, this is the only sort of weird detour that you have to make like this, but I really did try to put a lot of thought into this route, making sure that it's very clean, very easy, and because I personally don't really like doing steep or any sketchy descents either. So as we go down here, you're going to be greeted with some cool views of the sort of surrounding areas, and we're going to make our way for a quick rest stop. So we're here right next to the Eastgate Elementary School as you descend from Summit. And yeah, taking a good break here. Definitely, this has been a very interesting day. It's super cool, but yeah, showing you all these hills is definitely a type 2 type of fun as you get to smile once you reach the top and see everything. But yeah, we're gonna keep going and showing you the rest of this hills for this route. So we're now gonna head west towards Somerset, one of my all-time favorite climbs. But yeah, I am planning to host a group ride around this after seeing some of the YouTube poll responses and just hearing from you all. My goal really with this is to just get more people on bikes and trying out steep hills. So it's just all about having fun. It's not a race or anything. So hopefully at some time I'll post some details with a lot more logistics. But generally I'm imagining a self-supported ride where we'll start at Lewis Creek Park and then have a set end time where we'll get together and recap. But meanwhile, we'll all go through these hills sort of at our own pace. I hope to just hover around, ride with you all, give support if you need it. And yeah, just whatever you need to get on top of these hills. I know a lot of it's so mental. And of course, just having a route that's been vetted helps a lot as well. So just keep posted on that and keep looking out. But hopefully it should happen by the time this video comes out. So I'll hopefully see you there, and let's make it to the next hill. All right, so we're here now at Somerset, and yeah, it's another steep hill, 10% gradient for a good 400, 500 feet. Also, this is the westmost facing hill, so it's definitely got some good sights in that standpoint. So as you're riding up here, definitely take a look to the right. And once we get to the full top of this hill, there's a great spot where a ton of people come here to see all the fireworks and everything else. But yeah. So after you do this pretty scenic climb compared to all the other ones so far on the route, you are then met at the top with this awesome view as you make your final U-turn. Definitely take a nice snap of both downtowns of Seattle and Bellevue. And next, we're gonna head over to the steepest gradient on this ride. I don't know how it compares in difficulty as it's not as long, but this is gonna be the steepest part, and let's get into it. All right, we're about to do I Mamacita, 155th place, which will be the steepest part of this whole course. Oh goodness. Oh goodness. Yep. Definitely don't be like me and make sure you gear down early, as yeah, this won't be nearly the longest climb you have encountered today, but that one section that we're gonna approach, there's some good 20 odd percent gradients in there and probably the steepest incline of the day, even steeper than the Zoo Hill switchback. So whatever you can do to get above it, make sure to do that. Today I'm sort of rocking my commuter bike with a bunch of camera gear in the back, so really taking it pretty slow for a lot of these climbs and adding a good bunch of weight. So definitely it's doable. Just need to take your time and keep on going. Just for especially for hills like this one where the gradient's so steep, it's really nice because you can clearly see the end of the grade in real life, and when it ends, it gives you a really clear marker to aim for. So keep that cadence up, ride in zigzags, whatever you need to do. And then after this, we're headed to Cougar Mountain, where we will finish our final 2 climbs. And for some and others, they might describe these as being the queen stages of today, as they will be sort of the longest climbs. But here's Montreux. I've done a previous video on it, so I'll link that here. But we're gonna deep dive right into Zoo Hill, the tallest climb of the day, and our final one. So now we're on Zoo Hill climb, and here on the left is that zoo coming right up. So this climb doesn't really need as much of an introduction, but for why it's near and dear to me, definitely is because it's the hill that inspired this channel. As I was first starting into cycling, I wanted to find a hill, or people were telling me about this hill, and I didn't know if I could do it. So I really wish there was some type of video guide or someone to tell me more about the hill. So I just sort of went ahead and did it, and then you guys sort of came in after that and just kept on going. We're approaching the most iconic switchback and probably so much of cycling, the steepest one on Zoo. The inner parts can be easily over 20%, but after doing 155th, this should just be sort of similar. But yeah, it's steep and it's also bumpy. But remember, just take the outside line, and that really helps. And there you go. And the rollers begin. Yep, on 60th Street, there's a series of 3 rollers that get increasingly steeper, and then you make it to the stop sign and you just keep on going up. So, but you're basically at least halfway there. So yeah, this hill is definitely a really long one compared to all the others. The amount of work you'll have to put in for this climb is definitely the most, and that's why I have it as sort of the grand finale, as I like to always end my ride with sort of a high, both literally and figuratively, I guess. But yeah, make sure you pace yourself very well, because when you get to the top, there actually is going to be a stop sign and then a sharp left, and then even some slightly more steeper gradients for another 300 feet. So definitely watch out for that here. And as I'm making this turn, yeah, just use all the motivation you got. Know that this is the last climb of the day, and from there you're pretty much set to return back down to Lewis Creek. But first, after doing this climb, you're gonna be greeted with some awesome views, and that's also where we're gonna end this video. So let me know in the comments below what you think of this route and which of these hills have you done before. Stay in tuned about that group ride, but yeah, definitely feel free to just take this route, do whichever one of the hills you can, but I have them configured this way especially for you. And thank you so much for watching. I know that was a bit long, but hopefully it's really useful, and keep on riding. See you all in the next video.